This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our partner, Audible.
Yes, it is. So we are partnered with Audible. That means that if you are looking just to check it out, you don't want to put your card in and just take the dive. You can get 30 days for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG or click the link down below, you'll be taken there. You can sign up for 30 days for free and just test it out. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can get for free, a lot of Audible exclusives. But what I really like about Audible is that out of the hundreds and thousands of audiobooks that they have, if you decide to purchase something, that is yours forever. Like if you decide not to carry on your subscription or you want to take a break or whatever it is, you can always go back and listen to that book whenever you want through the app on the internet. Doesn't matter because it's yours. So once again, you can get that for 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Twitch. That's right, folks. Johnny and the Greg with Badass Tina live on Twitch. How are we all today?
Good. I realize I'm giving thumbs up on a podcast, and some people probably can't see that. So
I'm shaking my head like,
Yeah. How was everybody's weekend?
Not bad. Didn't really do. Yeah, it was pretty quiet.
Tina.
I worked and then I went to I was instructor for one of the Taekwondo testing. So that was a lot of fun because it was there was two moms and one of the guys, and that's like our, adult class. And one of the moms was like, "You're so inspirational. Thank you so much for motivating me and inspiring me." Because like I call them the hot moms, but we're not really hot moms. We're just sweaty moms, so we're hot. So
don't sell yourself short. Stop.
But it was funny because
bad joke to you, brought by Tina, of course.
We don't tear women down on this show.
No,
unless they tell really bad jokes.
Yeah. Hey, it says on Twitch that you're offline.
That's fine. They'll catch up. Not a big deal.
No,
I'm not worried about it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, are you? Because it's interesting.
I love our Twitch people, but I don't know how that whole thing works out on Twitch, so I just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that up to the real brains of the operation, which is Greg.
We still love you, viewer base.
No, I said I love them. I don't know what's going on there, so I'm not going to stress out about it. But so I went to a wedding, and
Yay.
I want to formally.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I do. I want to formally retire my daughter from being a flower girl. She's done. Nobody asked. We're done. That is her 5th one. So we're done. Find somebody else. Like hire a kid.
But she's
I don't care.
Cute.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I care. Thank you.
You can make money, John. You make money. Start to hire her out.
I might have to. That's a good idea. I might actually have to do that. If you're joining us, please do us just one quick favor. I don't even know if they have this on Twitch. Can you do a thumbs up? Can you do that on Twitch? Can you say thumbs up? Hey, good job. Like, can you does that help to an algorithm or anything of that nature?
They can react. What do you want them to respond to? How about we?
No. I just want them to say thank you for being on the show, liking it. The more we get thumbs up,
share,
the more we get like, share. All of that fun stuff. The better.
Tell your friends. The link is out there on our. You could share the link on your socials as well because there's a little share button. So go ahead and share us out on your Instagram, Facebook page, whatever social you use, and see if we can get more people in on the conversation.
That would help. We actually have 4 people on the show right now, so we should have at least 4 shares. That's how I look at it.
I'm going to do it right now.
But that might be all 3 of us.
3 of them are us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which means Marshall and probably my mom.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Yes. Hi, fam. Yeah. So my daughter's retired, so I don't want her walking down the aisle. I want her throwing flowers, which I probably just did some sort of reverse curse. So
Well,
now I'm gonna
why
get.
is that, John? Why don't you go into the why you don't want her to do that?
What happened?
No, I think it has to do a lot with
Was
how
there an
you
issue?
view. No. I think it has a lot to do with how you view you going over to other people's houses during the holidays. You're just done with it. You don't want to do it no more.
So there was no incident, or you're talking about like the
No
entire
drama.
rigmarole, like because
No.
I mean it is a lot to put on a 6-year-old to try to put her in the dress and the gown, and you have to do this and you have to do this, and then there's 2 hours of pictures that they're mostly just sitting there until they get called up, and as a parent you're wrangling the whole time.
Yeah.
Am I hitting it on the head here, John?
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's pretty much it. And it's just I'm done.
well,
I'm not a big fan of this is gonna come off bad. I don't like weddings. I don't care. Like I
it's
How was your wedding?
awesome.
his wedding
Oh,
was great.
Yeah.
well,
His his wedding was great to attend for the most part. Like
yeah.
there was, and I think we've talked about this, and I might piss some people off with this too. In the middle of the wedding, uh, there was a hard stop to the good time everybody was having, and because it was a very it's not biracial, international wedding, I would say, because John's wife is very, very Polish. She's Polish American, but I mean, there were people that had flown in from Poland to attend this wedding. Um, they stopped the wedding, and it went 100% Polish. Like that's all they were speaking. The entertainment that came out was traditional Polish entertainment. So those of us on John's side of the family, we were kind of sat there and went,
Oh,
what is this? Is
Yeah.
that's the belly button people from Ferris Bueller? What's going on?
Yeah. That wasn't the Polish thing. That was my
and
aunt. You're
oh,
confusing
that
two
was your
things.
aunt.
So Greg's might be confusing
Either way,
because he was
it
hammered
made
that
a
night.
hard stop. I
Yeah,
wasn't
it
hammered
did
yet.
it
I
did a
got hammered
legit
after that.
it did a legit like a record scratch. And
Yeah.
this guy that came out looked like the dude from Poltergeist 2. And
Yeah,
he
he had the
started
white gloves and the top hat and the
he
cummerbund.
started
And
I think he started doing some sort of one-man show in Polish.
yeah,
And Ursula had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. And
who brought that up? Like
the
who approved it?
father of the bride. I
Got it.
think it was just some
Yep.
he when I looked over at him, he was very proud of himself, very
Yeah.
happy. And so
and
I
there
was
were
like,
other people in the crowd that were happy too.
yeah,
All of them were north of 50, and just like
Yeah.
getting like
Yeah.
enjoying the hell out of this guy.
Yeah.
All of us in our 20s, 30s, I don't remember how old I was. We were like, can we bring the music back on? Can we bring the beat back? Can we? So when John said I was hammered, that is when that happened. Because I was like, I guess this is when we start drinking. And that's what we did.
Yeah, no, I going back to what's happening now. By the way, my wedding was awesome except for that. Other than that, it was a great wedding. I had a great time.
It was a great time. Yeah.
I just think I'm done. I'm just I don't know how to explain it. I don't really mean it against anybody personally at all. I'm just kind of done with weddings. Like I'm
With the
just
process of it.
yeah. I think
Weddings
the
in
next one I
general
want to
are-
do is maybe my wife's. I'm sorry,
There's
Jesus, my daughter's.
something not telling us, John.
Yeah,
It's a dog and pony show.
yeah,
And if your daughter is the dog and or pony, then you're like, or a part of it, then I can see the limitation, and I can see where you're like, I'm kind of done with this.
yeah.
I've
I
got
w-
I've got two
hang on.
weddings this weekend actually, so
Really?
I kind of know what you're getting into. Yes, it's
Wow.
it's two weddings. It's the same couple. So it's going to be interesting. So they again international
Wheel that back,
couple.
Greg.
Yep. I'm getting to it there.
Yeah.
So the groom is born and raised in India and is Hindu. The bride, born and raised in Wisconsin, is Christian. And so they are having a wedding ceremony for each. So on Friday is the Hindu wedding, and on Saturday is the Christian wedding.
Oh,
And then we also got invited to the rehearsal dinner on Thursday night. So because that's all the ladies are going in to get henna, to get
Yes.
the henna
I
done.
love henna. It's so nice.
We
It's
are
awesome.
super pumped about the Hindu portion of it because obviously we've never been to a Hindu wedding. We don't really know what that is going to entail. So from an outsider perspective, we're like, what's that like? And we've been talking with the bride and figuring out some of the things that they've had to go through to get to this point. And so it's at 2:45 on Friday is the wedding because there's some formula that here's when the bride was born, here's when the groom was born. You should get married at this day at this time.
Yeah, or something.
And
like
I don't know how it works out if it's a middle kind of thing, but so they had to schedule their wedding weekend around this formula, and it says we're getting married on Friday at 2:45, and then what my kids are calling the white wedding or the white people wedding is on Saturday.
wow. That must be hell to coordinate.
I'm thinking
Goodness.
so. Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
it takes a lot of coordination. I know the mother of the bride is feeling very stressed in like this is all that has to get done to accommodate everybody.
They're basically, I mean, because I know that Indian weddings and that they have like a 3-day, whole party thing. Like, I mean, it is massive.
Right.
And so they're almost doing like half of it by doing 2 days of it. You know?
And there is, I believe next year, like next summer, they all have to go to India. And when I say they all, I mean the bride's family, like her sisters, significant others. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the grandkids or anything, but the parents, I mean, they're going to his hometown in India
and redo it.
And they have to like do another. They don't have to redo the wedding, but it's like that's where a reception will take place.
Okay.
And in this culture, you invite, like the parents, they invite everybody they've ever known. So like every friend you've ever had, you invite to your child's wedding.
And that's why they have like literally 1,000 guests
Yes.
when they're in India.
And so, I mean, and this
whole village goes.
I don't believe the groom grew up in a very big town. And so the father of the bride was telling me like it is going to be like the whole town is going to be there. He's like, and I'm not kidding. It's going to be like the whole town is going to be there. So I'm like, wow. Yeah, what are we getting here? I have a feeling it's going to be.
Yeah. What did they do for the divorce? What an asshole.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Top off their head. Make it quick.
So I have a question to throw at both of you. Okay. I'm going to try and say this the right way because Greg, I usually struggle with this. Greg, you've been married. I'm married. Tina, did you actually get married or no? Okay. I guess we'll just go off of our experience. Do you think it's all of it is worth it? The wedding, not the marriage. The wedding is all of that when it's all said and done. Greg, I think you and I are 20 years past that. Is it worth it?
Coming up on 25, yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, and we were just talking with my oldest tonight about, she's like, you guys didn't have a very, like to her, she's like, your wedding actually doesn't sound like a very good time. I said, it could have been more. Like I didn't do the big dance. Like many of my college friends were not there because we were all like in the process of dispersing.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, we didn't do the dance. We had because we were on such a tight budget as college kids, and no, it was not a shotgun wedding. It was just like, that's what we had. And so we made the most of it. And like, we talk about, would you change it? And I'm like, yeah, I would have taken the money that we had to shell out on what we had, and we would have eloped. Like we would have gotten an island wedding somewhere and did that. Like
That's
that, like
what I'm trying to get at. Thank you, Greg.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
cousin Clay says mine was fun. Of course, I'm not saying it wasn't fun. A party's never not fun, especially when you are the reason for the party.
yeah,
My point is, all the money, all of the politics, all of the who's sitting next to who. You can't put cousin Clay next to this person because like
yeah.
all that bullshit, all of that nonsense. That's the build up to it. It's never worth it, in my opinion. As far as
Mhm.
I've experienced it, all of that, whatever they stressed out about, not their problem. I think I screwed up on three things. Nobody knew about it. Like
Yeah.
it's a bunch. It's like I was thinking like Ursula, and Ursula's with me on this actually. We were talking about it because weddings in the air right now. And so we
Hmm.
were saying to ourselves, like when Gwen gets married, do you want to do the thing that I've heard that's very popular where you sit there and say, hey, you guys can elope and we'll help you pay for a house, or we'll put that money, or we'll just give them a lump sum and say, whatever you guys want to do, this is yours. So if you want me
Yeah.
a wedding, if you want to do a wedding, or if you want to put that towards a house, that's up to you guys. We were just talking about those things, and I just remember Ursula saying, yeah, I would do it totally different now.
Well, I can tell you, unless something drastically changes, Gwen is never owning a house. I mean, that's a different topic, but
What do you mean?
yeah, that's unless she marries a millionaire. I mean, by that's only a
Okay.
billionaire. The housing market, I mean, maybe she can get some roommates and they can go in and buy a
Maybe
house,
she'll
have
be a
four couples
millionaire.
living in the
Probably
same.
not.
Maybe, who knows? Again, modeling job. Maybe it's a thing. Uh,
Things she
you
won't
know,
do.
yeah, my kids are closer to that than yours. And yeah, that's, we're encouraging them to not necessarily do the traditional wedding thing because no, I don't think it's worth it. It is a dog and pony show. I would rather see them put the effort into planning a marriage as opposed to planning a wedding.
There you go.
And because
That's a
that's what you hear a
well
lot
said.
of. You hear a lot of people that, I mean, tens of thousands of dollars. I mean,
Yeah.
just ridiculous amounts of money for this event. Um, and Clay's right. I mean, the statistics are out there. I think it's up to 54% of American marriages are ending in divorce. And so you have less than a 1 in 2 chance of making it. And you're going to spend all this money on there. Put your efforts in the right spot. Put your efforts in actually taking a premarital class and learning how to communicate, and learning how to fight, and knowing what to do when times are tough. Do that and have a memorable day, whatever that means to you. If that means the big party with the DJ and all your family's there and everybody's, boozing it up and having a grand old time on the dance floor, awesome. Do that. If that's what you want to do that. If it's you and your spouse and a justice of the peace in a town that you wanted to go to or visit or whatever, cool. If you wanted to get married on an island, go do that. If you wanted to get married at your favorite museum, see if they do that. I mean, there's hundreds of different things that you can do rather than having to go do what your parents did. And I'm done.
Well said, Greg. Wow. That was good. That was like one of those that was a good tangent, really.
That's
You
a
can,
PSA right there.
yeah, clip that out and we'll use that to advertise the show.
Yeah, that was good.
And I'm going to make a public apology, Clay. I'm sorry I didn't go to your wedding. Like that.
I'm sorry too, Clay. My
Yeah.
bad.
I don't even know what was happening that day, but I know my mom was giving me tons of shit for not going to Clay's wedding. I am a monster. I may have been at a comic book convention. I really don't remember what it was.
Gregory, how dare you?
I know.
It's your cousin. All right.
I can tell he's really upset with me.
Real quick, the highlight of the wedding. And Greg, you can vouch for me. I don't say this a lot. The highlight of the wedding was my wife. Oh my God, was she stunning?
You do say that a lot, and I'm not saying that
she was amazing, and I thought it was just me because maybe I was horny. I don't know, but what it was I had a guy come up to me who actually was the mayor. He's the mayor of some town in Michigan, and he said to me, just so you know, we took a gay vote around the wedding, and your wife was voted, best dressed. And I was like, oh, I was like, great, wow, awesome, thank you, appreciate that.
Is there a trophy for that, or is
No,
it
they said she looked like an Oscar because she had a very cool little gold sequence thing
gold
going.
thing? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was very cool. It was very cool. So I won best actor that day.
You get to take the trophy home.
Yes, yes. Oh, I had a trophy wife for a night. Anywho.
Did you tell her that? Did you relay that message to her that
No, they found her while we were talking, and he came up and reiterated it.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, which just mortified her. She can't take a compliment, which I don't understand why women just can't say thank you. Like, I don't understand that. I think it started from her from high school. Like, she felt if she accepted the compliment, that would make her cocky or arrogant or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of
Yes.
just saying thank you, or I think cocky would have been like, I know, right? Look at everybody else. I'm awesome. That would have been cocky and arrogant, but just saying, oh, thank you, you're too kind. Not hard. It's not hard, women out there. It's not. So,
I get it. I mean, people compliment me and I'm like, nah, you're full of shit.
well, that's your problem
I
too,
mean,
motherfucker. Like,
well, it
stop.
is.
Say
It
thanks.
is. I
Thanks.
mean, we've talked about
Appreciate
that
it, man.
before too, but
That's all. It's weird though if we're like in a men's group and this has happened to us, Greg, where we are like pointed out, a spotlight's put on you, and like, oh, he's good looking. That's why. I mean, that's all this shit happens to him. Women just fall all over him. Like, that's embarrassing. But
oh, you mean when I say that about you? Because yeah, I do say
no,
that.
I was more referring to Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah. Anywho, all right, moving on. Tina.
Do I get to answer the question?
No,
Yes, you
you're
too.
just a fucking guest. You don't
I'll
go
just
ahead,
sit here
Tina.
and look pretty. That's fine. I can do that, you know.
You might
My
want to take
my
off the
gray
shirt
hair.
then. You might want to take that shirt off then.
I can't expose things on
I just
live.
meant change it. Go ahead. Give us your opinion. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
And
totally
this is
went
where
over
we
that.
end the
Yeah.
show. Oh, sorry.
Where the ratings go up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Like, hey, it went up to 7.
Yeah.
So Nick's nephew had gotten married back in June, and I honestly thought it was a really, really nice wedding. I thought it was done very nicely. One of my favorite weddings was actually right after COVID, and it was one of my clients, and they had a Zoom. It wasn't a Zoom wedding, but what they did was they had the people that were there, and then they had 2 monitors on either side of the rabbi, and the people that were live there were seeing on the monitors what we were seeing on our Zoom, which was the front view of the couple, not just looking at their asses
Oh,
and their
sure.
back and not being able to hear them, you
Right.
know. I told her over and over that was probably one of my favorite weddings that I went to that I wasn't there, because I got to see the ceremony, which Nick literally and I had talked about this today, and it was like I would have 375 people alone just on my side, and he would have like 30, because I have more clients and friends that way than he does like anything else. And he's already been married. He's like, "Oh, we would just go to the courthouse." I was like, "I'm not fucking getting married at the courthouse. I'm sorry. Like, it's not going to happen." I've never been married. He has. He's been
Mhm.
divorced. It's been really bad. But like that shouldn't take away what I want. And what I want is not something humongous, right? If anything, I would do a hybrid of like that whole Zoom type of, feed to the people that listen. I want you to see what's happening. If you want to see it, here's the link. But I want my personal, intimate people being there, whether it's,
Mhm.
let's say, 30 people. But I couldn't even get into that part of the conversation because I'm like, I don't want something insanely huge, but I do want to showcase like my love for
Mhm.
you and have the people that have been supporting us for however many years that it would take for us to get there, you know? And I think that's something that should be shared with like more of the close
Mhm.
people, right? Now, if I want to have like a big, huge reception or wedding, I believe that that money could be used on towards the house, getting a down payment on something, you know, yes, it's a party, but like at the end of the day, like you can have a lifetime of having parties with people throughout your life, right? Like 4th of July's or, you know, Christmas parties, and have those people come. I wouldn't want to spend $50,000 on a wedding or 10th. I wouldn't want to do that because I know the money could be spent in a better way. I don't need a $10,000 ring like some of my friends have gotten. I don't need, oh yeah, dude. There was
Oh, I
one
know
guy,
it's ridiculous, but still.
ridiculous. Like, okay, you want to spend maybe like $500 a grand. So I ruin things. I can't have nice things. Things break. Get me one. You want to get me one? Get me like costume jewelry that does not turn my ring green. Okay, that way when I go out in public, if I lose it, oh well, you know.
Do
Not
you
bad.
do you know like the whole diamond ring phenomenon? What wasn't really a thing until about 1930, late 20s, early 30s. Because you used to be able to just get a ring, and it was any stone. Any stone was acceptable for a wedding ring or an engagement ring. And it
Mhm.
wasn't until movies started, like pictures, and there the De Beers Corporation, which is they control diamond mines all over Africa. We're talking blood diamonds, whole deal. The Diamond Cartel started to invest in Hollywood, and they said, "Here's what we want you to do when you have engagements on film. We want it to be, or a wedding on film. We want it to be with a diamond ring." And that's how that spread until now. People think it's like, oh no, it's always been you get a diamond. I'm like, no, it's not. It's less than 100 years old.
I mean, I would take a gem. I would take like something that would mean something to me. I love black,
Oh yeah,
the black bands and like that
the
kind of
onyx
thing.
and stuff. Oh, the
Oh my
tungsten.
God, I
Yeah,
love it.
it's
And
cool
then I
stuff.
started seeing it within the last like 8 years or so. So I've been starting to see black wedding bands, and I'm like, oh, you got some good taste over there, you know. But I the main thing is I want the people that are closest to me and closest to us to actually witness, like, because they've been like, me and Nick have been together for almost 7 years. I told him like, shit, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if we'd ever get married because fuck, I don't know. Right? Like, I would like to, but I wouldn't want to spend $1 million on anything.
The
I would want something more
mm, it,
smaller.
and this is where people are like, well, they take a religious side to it, and it's like, no, that also, like, marriage is a legal transaction. I mean, if you want to bring religion into it and just ask whatever your God is to bless your
Mhm.
marriage, you can do that, but that's not required. um and like the church I go to, people are like, do you do weddings here? They're like, no, we're not in the business of weddings. You can go down, if you want one of our pastors to marry you, you can ask them, but you have to provide the venue, and they're going to say, yeah, but you have to take this like 6 weeks premarital class
Mhm.
and do like intense counseling with them before they say yes or no, because they're like, we're not just doing this. It became a money-making event for churches because they would charge people to come in and get married in the church.
Mhm.
And then that became like a bonus money for the church, more or less,
And see,
which is why people now think that's the thing.
to me, marriage, I've always said this, I've never strayed away from it. To me, marriage isn't just necessarily like getting that party or whatever. It's being with that person every day.
Mhm.
It's getting through the ups and downs. It's getting through the fights. It's getting through the, your day-to-day life with somebody. Nick and I don't live together, right? We've been together for 7 years. We literally had this conversation today. And I'm like, you know what really sucks about our relationship is that I can't sleep next to you every night. I'd be okay with our fights. I would be okay with our arguments. I would be okay as long as you slept next to me every single night. So that way, at least I can put my arm around you at night and I can get a goodbye kiss in the morning. That's
Mhm.
what sucks. I don't need like a party. I need you.
No.
And that's what sucks.
And a lot of people
And
lose
I think
track.
that's the marriage.
A lot of people lose track of that. Like I said before, you're better off planning a marriage than you are planning a wedding.
Right.
And that gets lost in these. I mean, some people, because of timelines now, they got to be engaged for 2, sometimes 3 years to get the perfect venues and things of that nature. That's a lot of time that you should be working on the relationship and making sure that that's good, not just getting into who's booking what and when, and are the colors available, and what about the bachelor and bachelorette parties? Can we take, 30 people to Nashville or whatever it is? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
John, anything to add? Awfully quiet.
Yeah,
Over
it
there,
sounds
bud.
like marriage sucks. So, I mean, the wedding sucks. So,
No,
we
weddings are a
shouldn't,
pain in
yeah,
the ass.
we
Marriage is
shouldn't do
great.
the wedding thing ever. No, for the most part, I agree with both of what you guys have been saying. The one thing I will say that I always thought was cool, and I will thank Farah for this. She told me, and if anybody, this is free
Farrah
marriage
Fawcett.
advice. No, Farah, one of
No.
my best friends. Believe me, she's never heard that joke before. Once again, that is another bad joke brought to you by Tina. Um, she she told me that take a moment with Ursula, find a corner in the room, and for 3 or 5 minutes, she told me, I doubt you'll have 5, but for 3 minutes, sit there in the corner and soak in everybody in the room because it's probably right. She actually said without a certainty, it's the last time they're all going to be in that room ever again at the exact same time. So these are all the people you love. These are all the people you want to share this moment with. They will never all be there again like that. It'll never happen again. So take that moment because people make plane flights out there. People pass on. People break up and get divorced. And that one guy that you used to be buddies with, he's no longer there because the female's the family friend, whatever. A lot of things happen, and it probably will be the last time you ever see those people in the room together at that one moment ever again. So that's the only thing I would say. Um, I don't know if you can replace that because that's a
If
cool
you have
moment,
that.
but it's a moment. It's not a marriage.
Yeah.
It's a
And I would
moment.
say if you have that. I didn't have that.
But you wanted it because you said you were you wanted your college friends to be there.
Yeah, I mean that would have
Yeah,
been cool, but
yeah.
because they weren't, John, you weren't there.
I wasn't.
And I'm not saying that to call you out. You had your
Yes, you
reasons.
are.
So, but the idea of like, I don't know, and even the friends I do have now, I didn't know them then. Like,
Yeah, it happens too.
I mean, it's almost like if my kids do a big wedding, that would be where I would have the people that I would wanted to be in my wedding.
That was
If that
the
makes
other thing
sense.
I actually, that's funny you said that because that's the other thing I wanted to add to this that it seems to me nowadays that the wedding is more for the parents than it is
Very
for,
much so.
yeah,
I
than it is
felt
for
that
the
way
couple.
during my wedding.
Yeah.
My wedding was
So did
for
we.
my parents, and like that was very much the thing.
Yeah.
My friend is getting married, and I don't know if he's listening, so I don't want to say too much of the details, but
Only 5
one of
people are
the
listening.
issues, well, I mean, I put it on so that people can watch it later and stuff. So I don't know if he's going to actually watch it, but him and his girl are getting married, and the main issue right now is that the parents want it a certain way because he's Jewish, and even
Yeah,
though she even though she converted, right? She still wants part of her wedding to still be of like not
sure.
necessarily
Yeah,
Catholic, but traditional in her own way too, even though she's converted. And there's a very big problem that $40,000 worth of just the food alone, 40
mm,
grand. The parents are like, we'll pay for it. And she's like, I don't want them to pay for it because
right.
I don't want that. Like, I understand that there is traditional stuff. But even he's like, I don't even, and it's the parents that are like, here's the check, here it is, because they want it their way. And they both are just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And how do you do that? How do you tell the parents who, like you're saying, it's more,
Yeah.
if you really think about it, when you're going to give Gwen away, you're watching her like go on and make her own life. And this is almost like your last big hoorah for your daughter. and you want to, it's like the party for your kid, right? And you want to be the one that's involved in the planning, and you want to have some say, because not only is it just her friends that are going to be there, but it's all of your friends that have been watching her or raising her or being in her life, that, you know,
Yeah.
there's
And that,
some sort of
again,
possession of a parent.
that's great. And again, I've had these conversations with my kids. Is like, if you want that, then we
Oh,
can make that happen. At
I'm
the
gonna
same,
tell TJ, like, you do whatever the fuck you want to do. As
yeah,
long as I'm there, you do whatever you want.
if like I said, if they want to go get married on an island somewhere or on a
Mhm,
cliffside or whatever,
mhm.
like those people that we're talking about that would be invited to the wedding, we would tell them, here it is. If they say yes, if they want to fly there and attend, they can do that, but that's on them then. I mean, if they want to do that. So I don't know. I think it's because I was there, like when you were talking about the religion wars, that's what we had. And Chris and I were of the same religion, different denominations, but
Mhm.
like it was parent versus parent on a couple of things. We had, oh God, we had cake topper wars where like Krista's mom had this one cake topper that she wanted to put on top of the cake, and my mom had purchased a different crystal cake topper that she wanted all of my cousins to use. Like that was the thing that she wanted to start. And I, we said, okay. And my mom talked to us first. We're like, sure, yeah, no problem. Like we can do that. And then my mother-in-law said, well, no, I have something too. And I'm like, then put them both on there. I really don't care.
Right, right. That's what I was
Like,
thinking. Like, put them back to back and have
well,
them
yeah,
both.
like, well, and my mother-in-law's was like this gold thing. It was like, it looks like a P, but it's a cross in the middle. I know there's a name for it, and I don't know what it is, but it's a religious symbol. And the thing my mom had was a bride and groom traditional, like bride and groom's hat. I'm like, put the bride and groom up front, put the P thing in the back, problem solved. We get to the venue where we're having the wedding cake, and the P's on there, the crystal things on the side, and it turned. I'm like, in truth, I don't fucking care. Like I just didn't. I didn't care. But yeah, it's those the in-law wars that can happen. I'm like, again, forget about it. Like, sorry, we can't do that because the resort that is doing the wedding cake doesn't allow it. I mean, it's an easy thing.
There you go. Yeah. Well, welcome to marriage. It's a good, because in-law wars are part of a marriage. That's
Yeah.
you got to deal with.
You
that.
think that's bad? Wait till
yeah.
you have a kid and Christmas rolls around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you
Or
going?
yeah. Yeah. You're right. So, all right. I don't. Let's just transition to Tina. You got weird facts. Let's make this a little fun. Wait, are we doing weird facts, Tina, or are we doing sex facts with Tina? What are we doing?
Today we're gonna do sex facts.
Are we
Sex
doing weird
facts.
sex facts?
Are we
We're
doing
doing
weird,
sex
or are we just doing sex facts? Sex facts or weird sex facts?
Wait, you figure out what they are.
Okay.
You pick.
We'll be the judge of the weirdness
When
scale.
you hear it, you tell me what you think it
Okay.
is.
Last
Okay.
question before you go. Is this everybody in the animal kingdom, or is this just human sex stuff?
Human.
Got it. Go.
Human. Yeah. Did you
All right.
know that women get erections?
I
Yeah,
did know
we
that.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did know.
Oh, then why am I
Those are-
telling you? I gotta
Where?
Engorgements.
the clitoris. The clitoris. How do you say it? Clitoris? Dolores, like on Seinfeld. What's her name? It rhymes with
Once
a
again,
female
that's
part.
bad jokes by Tina. Once again. Thank you,
That
Tina.
was by Jerry Seinfeld. But anyway,
Hey, listen, I can dance like Elaine. The clitoris is made up of some spongy erectile tissue as the penis, which expands and engorges with blood when aroused. You can observe this. Just look at your clitoris or touch it when you're aroused, and it will be bigger. I mean, anybody that's
again,
been around that area knows.
somebody get a grant to take measurements on
Yep.
that.
Yep. Probably a guy like Van Wilder.
No, actually, one of the first guys that did it was Kellogg. I can't remember his first name.
Oh,
but the
Jesus
guy who
Christ.
made,
I was
like,
kidding.
Kellogg. No, this is real.
Right, no, but you're acting
The-
like Cliff now. Now you're acting like Cliff from Cheers.
Shut up.
Well, actually, back
You
in
look it up.
Kellogg day, like God.
You look up Wellville. They were doing weird research out there. Continue.
Go ahead, Dina. Greg just showed us his IQ. Go ahead.
A big penis won't stretch out or ruin a vagina. It won't. So guys, don't worry about it.
I missed the first part because I have Greg. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that was crude of me. I missed the first part of what you said. Go ahead.
I said a big penis won't stretch out or ruin a vagina. Considering the fact that we have kids' heads that are this big that come out,
Yeah, really.
trust me, your dick is fine. It won't do anything.
There you go, folks. Tina says your dick is fine.
Did you hear about the Olympic pole vaulter who lost a medal
Yes,
because of his manhood?
Yeah.
just like my
Like, how did you're like, buddy? I don't know what to tell you. Have a good night in the Olympic Village because
Yeah.
people are going to be looking for you now.
Yeah.
apparently
Fantastic.
he got like, porn
Oh, I'm sure.
he's gotten a lot of
Offers. He's
offers.
got some offers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
$20 is $20.
Go on pole vaulting.
We're always talking about sex, but having it less. So sex is mentioned in the media more than ever, but
Mhm.
not translating to more sexy times. So we found that the happiness of adults over the age of 30 declined between the 2000s and 2014, with less sex and less happiness. It's no wonder that American adults seem deeply dissatisfied these days. So we're talking more about it, but we're just not doing the deed. So
Here's
yeah.
a question for you. I mean, when I was in college and getting my teaching degree, I did have one class where the professor was like, you're going to have to deal with this. And so he made us do like a sex ed unit, like a lesson where we had to write a lesson. It was a group project. We had to present because he's like, you need to get comfortable talking about this in front of people. And so it was a little awkward at first, but I just eventually, like when we were presenting, I was like, man, the hell with it. Let's just do the thing. And I had to explain to him what fingering was because he didn't know. And so his name was Rick. And I'm like, Rick, you're married. You know what this is. Maybe you don't know the name of it. I said, but if I do this, you know what I mean, right? He goes, oh yeah. I'm like, and meanwhile, the rest of my classmates were like, oh my God, he just went there. And I'm like, guys, we're getting the point across.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah. And he was a big proponent of sending exchange programs to Denmark. And he's like, because he had been to Denmark, he's like, they don't have these issues. They don't have the SA issues. They don't have like the awkwardness. He's like, anything surrounding sexuality, they have less issues with.
Actually,
and he was kind of
talk about it. And
well, he's like, and why is that? And when he was over there, they said, because we start education early and it's like talked about like a normal thing. And so that's what he was trying to instill in us. And I was like, well, it's not going to quite get to that level, but yeah, I mean, I was a special ed teacher. So, and he had a story of when he was a special ed teacher in the 80s. He had a student, she had Down syndrome, and her parents just never decided to talk to her about her cycle because they actually thought it wouldn't happen. So here she is in like 88 wearing white jeans in a high school classroom when she gets her period for the first time. She thinks she's dying. She thinks she's literally dying in the middle of the classroom. So her teacher didn't know what to do. He goes running down there and he goes, oh my God, has to figure out how to handle the situation. He was like, I don't want that for you guys. So that was his precipice for doing that lesson. But yeah, taking the European view on things might be a little better for us. Might make us happier.
Dude, my mom, she told me about the time that she used to play a lot of sports when she was younger, and she used to be a tomboy basically. And my aunt, because in the 50s and 60s, you're not like, girls are not supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be more like prim and proper,
sure,
and blah, blah, blah. And so she told her, she's like, if you keep doing that, you're gonna die. Your insides are gonna get hurt and blah blah blah. When she got her period, same thing. My mom honestly thought that she was like dying because she had gotten, she had been in so many
Oh,
sports and she had injured her
wow.
organs.
How
Yeah,
how old
12
were you
years
when you
old.
got the talk?
The
Did
I
you
don't
ever?
I
You
don't
never
think
had
I
the
had the
talk?
talk. I I think I was in high school when I had the talk
Oh
in
God.
class, you know.
Okay.
I don't I remember the only thing that I remember my mom telling me about like my period was here's the pad. This is how you put it on your underwear and go. That was it. That was all I got. I'm like, that was it.
John?
Um,
Done.
um, my mom told me I was 2. I remember at 4.
Really?
I learned very early. My
Probably
parents,
starting with like just straight up biology of it and then expounded on
um,
it later, or
yeah. The idea of procreating was told to me before the idea of sex, if that makes sense of what I'm saying about.
Hmm.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was told I was told pretty early to where when those things would come up at like sex ed, I was like, you guys don't know this? Like, really? Like there were some
Mhm.
people that would like giggle. I'm like, really? Like, I don't understand how you guys aren't aware of
I
this.
Aren't
try.
educated. Yeah.
Yeah,
I try to talk to
for
TJ, but
my parents were very open about it to the point where um it made a couple of my girlfriends incredibly uncomfortable around my mom because my mom would say
Oh.
something like I would say like, when I got to the point where I was old enough to have a girl over,
Hmm.
my mom would give her like little sex jab jokes
Oh.
like uh I think like one time I think I was watching a movie and we were all watching a movie downstairs and I said, "Mom, I'm tired. I'm going to bed." So I went up to bed and then she, of course, probably the girlfriend felt awkward and was like, "Okay, well, I'm just going to go upstairs with him." And she goes, "Oh, I bet you are." Like she would do things like that. So she'd embarrass the hell out of my girlfriend. So it was a very open conversation in my house. There was no
Mm.
real, yeah.
Shout out to our audience out there. Like, what ages were you guys?
What were you,
And you don't have
Greg?
to go through the whole story. I don't know how old I was. I know I was in elementary school. And I mean, I remember it pretty vividly. My mom had a book that she had
Nice.
gotten from somewhere.
Of course she did.
Um, and it was a like how to talk to your kids about sex book.
Ah,
And I think it was one of those things where it was time for my brother to get the talk, but they did not trust my brother enough to not screw up telling me like he because they're like he's going to tell my older brother's going to tell me and he's going to tell me a bunch of wrong stuff. So they just decided that we're going to have to do it at the same time. And I remember, the images of like watercolor images and like, a pregnant mother with the baby all kind of like in there and stuff. Um, and when it reads like a children's book, right? So she gets to the point of talking about an erection and I'm laughing hysterically, like tears in my eyes. Um, I'm doing like sound effects to this. I'm like hit my
like
brother like
igniting a lightsaber.
yeah. I'm just no. I'm like I'm doing the boing sound and like just losing it.
Yeah.
And I think my mom thought it was kind of funny, but she was trying to keep it together. And she's like, "This is no joking matter," kind of thing. And so she was part laughing, part mad. And then like my dad came home, like, "Yeah, you gotta hear this." My dad thought it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was it was too early for me to know. Um,
and how
but
old were you?
gosh, I want to say I was probably 7 or 8.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that was way too. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like
That's why
to
you were like,
like probably like John, like maybe if I would have known the biology of it, because hell, Mutual of Omaha was on every Saturday. So like watching that, probably could have started there, but mom took more the love and religious route, um, along with the biological route. And so I was like, okay. And I knew what I did make a connection with is like stand-up comedians will joke about this a lot. So
Yeah.
then I thought this must be hilarious. Like it
Oh,
must be something that can draw humor. And so I think I started to repeat some of the things that I started to hear stand-up comedians say,
yeah.
which is, you know, as a grown adult, that might work out. It might get a laugh out of the room.
Yeah.
When you're 10 years old and you're quoting like the Def Comedy Jam
Or
not-
Eddie
Mm.
Murphy Delirious. Yeah.
yes,
Probably
yeah,
not.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just like it doesn't fly.
No. But you think it does.
Yeah, you think you're being
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
And yeah, and Shaw makes a good point. We didn't even have the internet growing up. We had
Yeah.
like finding somebody's dad's
Videos
stack of
and
newlyweds
magazines.
or-
Yeah.
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 So Tina, you
This
said
isn't
you,
where we keep movies. Why are they in the closet?
you said you got the talk in high school. When did you know about it though?
Well, I never got like an official like sex talk. Okay,
So then you got it through your
My-
friends.
my stepdad would always joke around about inappropriate things anyway,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
Mhm.
like there were just some times where he would talk about shit that just really I should not have been in the room. So I already knew of it, but not like directly like, hey, right? So like, okay. I was 17 when I had my first, sexual experience. And it was like, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, but I did know how to protect myself.
Okay, that's
So
So you had
if
the
that
knife.
makes sense, like, because I mean, I do have those knuckles. How's your arm?
Yeah. Oh, Greg, in the audience, what she's talking about is that she has rubber brass knuckles. So they're
No,
not
no,
brass,
not
but
rubber.
rubber knuckles.
They're plastic.
Composite?
They're plastic knuckles.
Like
Okay.
3D printed knuckles.
Yeah. So I told her to hit me in the shoulder because I wanted to see what that would do.
And
like
I
how
do
it
with
hurt.
my left hand, not my
Yeah, and
right
she
hand.
hit, and to her credit, she held back. I could tell she didn't really hit me hard, but she held it. I just
And it hurt.
no,
that
it
what you're
didn't
saying?
hurt that much. It didn't, but she was holding
Just
back,
hurt my
so it
heart.
wasn't.
I was just like, because I didn't want to, I didn't want, because then it would have also hurt me too, because like it's a very light plastic, but it's a hard light plastic. So
Mhm.
all you have to do is use your force, and it'll give you the same, type of damage depending on where you want to go. But I can't do it with my right hand, so I was like, yeah. Anyway, but Nick's kids are 17 and 18.
Mhm.
And I always, when his older one is like talking about this one girl, and I'm like, okay, well, so what have you guys done? Nothing. I just touched her butt. I'm like, okay, well, what else did you touch? Like
Yeah,
I try to
how
get
full of shit are you? Yeah.
right. Well, no, he's not. I
I just touched her.
she was-
butt.
she was ruining his life, by playing the game. But with TJ, I'm over here like, okay. I was like, your penis, your balls, mama, mother, stop saying that. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to stop saying, but it's the scientific term. Okay.
Yeah.
Like your
Hold my junk.
testicles. So I mean, I tell Nick all the time, I'm like, have you actually talked to, the
Mhm.
older one about this? Because you need to. He's 18. He's all about like the girls or whatever. The 17-year-old, he's still
I
on
should
the.
talk to him sooner than 18.
He should have, but I've been
But-
trying to do this for years, and
But I know
you know.
parents that I talk to the dads, be like, "Well, when are you going to talk to her?" And he's like, "I'm not." What do you mean you're not? No one ever talked. No one ever
Wow.
talked
They're
to
gonna
me
talk
about
to him
it.
when they become a grandpa.
Yeah,
you know?
like just like one guy, he's like, "No, I'm not going to talk to my kids about that. Are you crazy?" Like, you're crazy if you don't. I mean, are you serious? And he refused.
Wow.
TJ's going this year. I think it's second. I think it's fourth quarter or something like that. They have health.
Oh, they
and
go
it's
through. Okay, yeah.
so they do it in 8th grade
State
because
mandated sex ed. Yep.
something like that, right? And they said that they're going to do it the last part of 8th grade because they seem to, they need to be more mature, but they're going into high school, and that's when
Well-
everything is just like completely rageful, like
But statistics
Bing.
are showing that like over half of that class has probably been active since 7th grade, if not sooner.
and that's the thing. Like I look at TJ and I'm just like,
Has that ever not been the case? Like
No.
the way
Yeah,
the way you made it sound, Greg, and I'm not saying I'm not blaming you, but the way you made it sound like it always sounds like just recently 13-year-olds have been sexually active, or
Oh.
they're like, that's been the dawn of time.
No, but 13's eighth grade. And I think
Right.
that's very true, but
Yeah.
it is stretching down to seventh grade, sixth grade. And I think that's where you're like, damn, that's like
What gets me as a
11,
new
12.
father in this world, a 6 years in father, is how young kids dress. It
Yes.
worries me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really legitimately worries me. And
Yeah,
there's
Well,
nothing I
because
can
you
do
also
about
have
it.
to
Can't control it.
You can't find shorts for girls longer than a certain length. I mean, it just they don't
Dude,
make them.
dude, I saw the first day of school pictures. I swear to God, if I had a daughter, oh no. Oh no. My
Uh,
stepdad, I mean, as much as I despise the man for some things, he did teach me as a woman, as a girl, he taught me how to be more respectful of my body and how to
Mhm.
dress because there are some nasty fucking perverts out there that it's not my fault. It's not something
Correct.
like that, but it's just you got I wear shorts underneath my skirts. I wear shoes. I've told you this, Johnny, right?
yeah, so does
I wear
Greg.
shoes. Yeah. Well, kilts,
Yep.
you know. Um, I wear shoes that I can run in. I always have something on me that can be used as a weapon somehow, or,
Mhm.
whatever. And then the way that you dress, you can't be showing off your top and your bottom because then you don't have nobody, you don't leave it to the imagination for
Yeah.
anybody, right?
And
You can show off your body without showing it like all your
mhm.
skin,
It is
right?
a weird it is a weird dichotomy as a father or just as a parent in general. With your daughters, you want them to have the fashion that they want to wear and you want them to express themselves. But
And
at
be
the same
confident.
time,
Yeah.
yeah, and be confident. But at the same time, you'd be like, you still have to have like this awareness about you because there are dickheads out there that aren't going to look at that and think like that you're a confident, impressive, strong young woman. They're going to look at you
Mhm.
like a piece of meat.
Yeah.
And
And then with
even
all the sex trafficking and all the girls being,
yeah,
right, that's one of the main reasons probably why they're starting things out even earlier because then these girls or these kids or anybody are aware of a
mhm.
situation that might present themselves as very, very dangerous,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know.
Awful
I
hard to
don't
be
know
aware
how you
when
guys
your
are
face is
raising.
in a phone.
Yeah, that's true too.
Well, making them aware of guys in general. And it's interesting when I'm talking with, my daughters and they're like, well, here's a guy. He's a nice guy. And I'm like, yes, but even the nice guys have this propensity to do bad things. And it was a big kind of come to Jesus moment with my oldest. And she's like, how do you know it? I'm like, because I was one of them. Like I was
Mhm.
seen as a nice guy, but I still had thoughts where I'm like, nope, you should be looking there, should be doing that. I mean, you know, girl wearing a blue shirt when you're 17, a girl wearing a blue shirt and she bends over, you're going, what's going on? What's going on there?
Not me.
Because that's what guys do.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah,
Nope.
I was
you said
11 when I had
no.
my first kiss. I remember playing Truth or Dare, having my first kiss at 11, and there was definitely more things going on than just kissing, but I didn't have
Mhm.
sex until I was 17. So, I mean, it's like,
There's
there's a
that.
No,
There's
I
that
look, I might,
spectrum.
I haven't, I've definitely not put a lot of thought in this right now, but I would second what Greg is saying, that I think the only difference between a nice guy and a mean guy is we don't go off of impulse.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
we check ourselves almost at, like, we check ourselves at the door in
yeah,
situations like
yeah,
where a bad guy would not have that check and he would
yeah.
just go. Where a
Mhm.
guy, like Greg's right, nice guys are guys.
Yeah.
We're just the ones that have self-control. We've been taught certain things and we take those responsibilities or those actions to heart. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, so we don't act on it. And the only difference, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I haven't really thought this out in my head yet before I'm just spewing this out on the internet, um, is that, the only difference between, and I'm just going to put us in here, the only difference between Greg and I is that we have impulse. I'm sorry, we do not, we control our impulse. We don't, you know,
There's, you know, yes. And when we talk about the nice guy, the nice guy has been able to control an impulse, but you put him in a situation that he's never been in before, that
Right.
first time situation.
Give him alcohol.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
who knows how he's going to act, and he might not know either. You hope it's going to be good.
Right. Right.
And so as a father of daughters, you're like, be prepared for anything, even if you think he's a nice guy. And then as a father of a son, you're like, don't be that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's
If
the
you're
best
a
I can say
good
is don't
father,
be that
yes,
guy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
this was fun.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Greg, let's get some
Um,
polyamory going.
1 second, I want to respond to some comments in here.
Sure.
Some things that came up talking about the Blue Book and the Curtain of Shame, which is in reference to a video store that me and the commenters we all worked at. The video store where it had the adult movies, but you had to step behind this curtain and
Blockbuster had that. What are you talking about?
Blockbuster had that.
Oh,
Family
yeah,
Video had
man.
that.
Oh, I
Um,
remember going back there.
It was, well, and in those it was like a whole section in this little mom and pop store. We pretty much would
There was a
send them.
gas station.
We would send them into like a side room and then pull a curtain. And I do have to say, like the busiest night. So, I worked there for my first couple of years in college. And when you're in college, you don't do like the whole town's going to like high school events. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm not in high school anymore. But I remember working, it was prom 1997. So it was my first year out of college. So my freshman year of college. I'm sorry, first year out of high school. So I'm the employee. I'm like, high school kids, go do the prom thing, go do your stuff. I'll work that Saturday. And I knew like the whole town goes to the Grand March, and then the parents are like out partying because their kids are not home. And I worked that night at the video store. And all of a sudden, right around 9 o'clock, when I knew the Grand March was going to be over, I was expecting a rush of like parents coming in to grab a movie or two. But it was hilarious because you'd have the couple, they would come in, they'd look at the new arrival section, and then like the wife would like peel off and go to some other part of the store when the husband would come and be like, they'd look at me like, hey Greg, how's it going? Good to see you, buddy. And I'm like, hey coach, what's up? And and he'd be like, hey, you still got those movies back there? Yeah, right here, bud. And we had like this tag system where you'd rip off the Velcro tag and bring it in. And so you flip through the book, rip. They give you like it's like a comedy, a romance, and a porn. You're like, box it up and have a great night. See you later. And I was shocked at some of the people that were coming in
Look at that porn.
to rent. Yeah, I mean, but their kids were gone for the night. And I'm like, have fun, kids. See you later.
Yeah.
Some Ron Jeremy and some Pete North.
Oh God.
Oh, wow.
It was.
That's what I had to watch. You're welcome.
Oh.
Had to watch? Is someone forcing it on you?
I mean, there was some time. That's for another conversation.
That's an off-air conversation. And yes, Sean, I do remember there was one dude who would come in and that's all he rented was the porn. And he would come in. I remember one time he was like just this dirty old man. He would come in, he'd rent like 4 at a time and then bring him back like 4 hours later. You're like, ugh. I don't want to touch that.
Oh.
Wash your hands.
Hand
That one.
sanitizer. Life.
That one right
Yeah.
here, son. That was a good one right there.
Yeah. Just
I did have a couple favorites. Like I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, look, we
Those-
all have. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
a friend of mine got married the summer after we graduated. And so we're having his bachelor party, but we're a bunch of 18-year-olds. And so we're out at this guy's like farm, whatever alcohol we could get our hands on. A buddy and I went to like an adult novelty store and got like the cheapest blow up doll we could find for like $10. And then they're like, Greg, you work at the video store. Can you bring movies? And I'm like, yep, pretty sure I can. I grabbed like 4 and I'm like, here you go, guys.
There you go.
That was the entertainment.
There you go. That night, no farm animal was safe.
It was a good time.
All right, Greg. Polyamory.
Polyamory, yeah. Let me move some stuff around. So there is a musical artist out there right now. She's very big. Have y'all heard of Chapel Rowan?
I have not,
Mm,
but I don't listen
Good
to
to,
radio.
Good to Go. Yeah, I know. She's got a song out there called Good to Go. She's got one out there called um oh gosh. Pink Pony Club. That's what I'm thinking of. She's got a song out there called Pink Pony. She's kind of like the new hot thing in music right now. And I say like she's like an overnight success, but she's worked probably 15 years to become an overnight success.
How would you describe the genre?
It's pop. It's
Okay.
pop music. Pure and simple. But it's women empowerment pop music, I would say. Uh she's a drag queen, but she is a female who just does the drag like
attire,
makeup
yeah.
and hair. Yeah. So that's what you can kind of expect if you go to see one of her shows. She packed out Lollapalooza down in Chicago a couple weeks ago, like front to back. The place was just packed. But you can find her stuff all over the place right now. But I'm a cover guy. Like I love listening to covers of popular songs. So this is a group called Senses. I don't have a ton of information on them because everything I looked up, their bio says we met on Tinder.
Nice.
That's the bio of the band. It's a man and a woman, and but they did a cover of one of Chapel's songs called "Good Luck, Babe," and I liked it, so I'm going to share it with y'all.
Mhm.
So let me get to the share. Why can I not find my share screen button? There it is. It just took me a second to get there. Share sound. Here, Spotify Premium. And again, you can find this on the Johnny and the Greg playlist, which I will link to, and it's also in the description down below. It is their number one song right now. This is Good Luck, Babe by Census. A little bit harder edge to it than the actual song.
Good luck, babe. Good luck, babe. Good luck, babe. Good luck, babe. It's fine. It's cool. You can say that we are nothing, but you know the truth. And guess I'm the fool. With her arms out like an angel through the car sunroof. I don't wanna call it off, but you don't wanna call it love. You only wanna be the one that I call baby. You can kiss 100 boys in bars, shoot another shot, try to stop the feeling. You can say it's just the way you are, make a new excuse, not a stupid reason. Good luck, babe. Well, good luck, babe. You have to see the world just to stop the fear.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of not the voice reminds me a little bit of who's that one
Paramore?
girl? Who?
Paramore.
Yeah, it's got a definite Paramore feel to it.
Oh, I don't know who Paramore is.
Man,
I was gonna say it like
They're
like
great.
the voice like reminds me of who's that girl that sings "So raise your glass if you are."
Pink.
Okay, yeah,
So raise your glass if you. Yeah, that's Pink.
yeah, okay. That's right. That's who that kind of reminded me of. I like Pink though, so
Yeah, Pink's fantastic. I'm sorry, it's not that we met on Tinder. It says we met on Craigslist. Even
Ooh.
better. Um,
yeah, I
but,
like it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean they're great. Chapel Rowan is absolutely blowing up right now. But like I said, I like covers, and I like something that's got a little bit more of the punk edge to it, and that definitely does. So,
So, Greg, are you the type of person that has a certain type of music genre for a certain activity you're doing? Like if you're doing dishes, do you
Yeah.
listen or if you mow the lawn,
Not-
you do something else, or if you cook, are you doing?
somewhat.
Okay.
And I wanted quick reaction to the comment. Yes, Sean, First to 11 is fantastic. I've been listening to them for what seems like years now. And I know they come around like Chicago and Milwaukee every once in a while. They'd be cool to check out in a show. So to give John to your answer, I do it a little bit by task, but more like what I'm feeling at the time. So I name my playlists. So I've got the Polyamory playlist, which everybody knows. The one that's got like a mix of everything, I call Greg's Current Ear Candy.
Okay.
Which, if I like a song, I'm plugging it in there. I've got the one for the background, which is just like if I'm doing stuff around the house and I just want background music on, I put it on for that. I've got the one in the shower, which is one I will listen to when I'm in the shower. That's a different one. That's Smexy Time. I've got that.
What is it?
Smexy Time.
Smexy.
I've got.
Is that what you generally call it, Greg?
No.
Like,
not
okay.
No.
All right.
It's just what I had to name the playlist.
Ursula and I call it team building.
Team building. Yeah.
I love that. I've used
That's
that
good.
before. I'm like, it's team building. I love it.
I'm trying to think of any other quippy names. The one with easy listening, which I will put on, like I will put that on if we're hanging out with friends and we don't know them a lot yet, and I'm not really to open up my musical psychosis to them. So it's just like one's in the background. So there's that. I've got one called On Dat Pole, which is all like 90s and 2000s stripper music. Because why not? That's. I've got the ones I like to sing to, which is kind of like if I'm going to sing in the car by myself with the music so loud that I can't hear myself. Yeah,
those are fun. Those are good songs.
I'm really into Shabuzi right now. I've been listening to there's two songs that I really like.
Oh yeah.
And it's
he was featured on Polyamory. I don't know if that was the one you were on or not, but I did Shabuzi with his first single that came out.
Right.
My daughter loves him.
Bar Tipsy or something like that.
Yeah,
but
Tipsy.
I like The Last of My Kind and Steal Her From Me. Those two, I could listen to those two. And Tall Boy. I like Tall Boy. Really, it's really good. I've been putting it on a lot lately.
Yeah.
I really like it.
All right, Tina. Time for your bad joke of the week.
I mean, what do you call a sad strawberry?
What's that?
A rawberry?
A blueberry.
A blueberry.
Okay. A blueberry. Yeah. What's more amazing than a talking dog?
What?
A spelling bee.
Okay.
Once again, that's bad jokes by Tina. Come every 3 weeks she'll be on, folks. So I can't get enough of it.
The third Sunday, and then the third Sunday of the week of the month.
Of the month.
Yes.
Of the month.
So out of all the jokes you told today, your shirt is still number one.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, Greg, take us out, sir.
Okay, well, we are winding down to the end of summer, which doesn't seem like it's possible, but I mean, back to school is just around the corner.
Tuesday.
And it is.
Mine's in.
I was going to say, some people are in already. Wisconsin doesn't start till the 3rd. So, but y'all are into it. So yeah, summer's coming down. I'm looking forward to fall. I love fall.
Yes. Werewolves, pumpkins, and football. Oh my.
Football and chili.
Sweater weather.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I'm a hoodie guy.
I am up for jeans and a hoodie. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So bring it all. I'm happy to do it. I love Oktoberfests. Looking forward to that. And as we're winding down, and there's going to be the traffic patterns are going to change and things like that as kids go back to school. So just remember when you're out there, don't be a douche.
There you go. For Badass Tina and her silly little jokes. The Greg, this is Johnny saying have a great week. Take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Take us out. Who's that girl?
Better Than This from Senses.
I like this.
I can't keep living like this.
Sounds like Pink. It does.
Yeah, a little bit.
Who do I turn
We out.